Are we live? We must be live. There's an echo. Good day, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Marijuana Man. This is From Under the Influence here on a December day in Vancouver. We're zooming it in today again, thanks to the virus. You know that thing. But thrilled to be here, and joining me today all the way from the other side of Canada is Mr. Cookie.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm just here getting myself a little under the influence right now.
Well, keep talking for a second. I gotta go let my cat in.
Today we're smoking on some wonderful pink Kush. It was renamed Coral Kush for some reason. Probably because maybe some corals are pink, but I don't really know. Has a nice clean burn. Nice resin ring. Makes me real happy.
That's the important thing, is that you're happy.
That's right. I've tried different weed from Ontario and stuff, and there's some good weed here, but not a lot of it.
No, it's not quite like British Columbia became over the years, with so many growers and so much weed being produced.
Yeah, you have your choice of weed there. You can have good weed from a few different people, where here you just gotta like put up with the weed you get and then maybe find better weed or do it yourself or something.
Well, I'm smoking something called Zambadelica. Zambadelica. And it was a real strain. Let me look it up. Coming to you from Ace Seeds.
I heard of those guys. I can't think of the other genetics that they actually do.
Huh.
I remember the name because I'd always say Ace is high, Ace is high.
Yeah, I don't know. They're not telling me much about it. Well, I don't know. It's supposed to be some sort of sativa that comes out of a place near Madagascar, and then cross with something else, some more sativa. Lineage, yeah, crossed it with Kush, pink Kush.
Looks good though.
Yeah, it's quite delicious actually, and I don't know how much sativa is in the mix, really, how that all works anymore.
Sometimes it goes with how much they say is in the mix, and then sometimes it goes with how much is actually in there.
Well, I think it always goes like that. I don't see too much that looks like a sativa that's being called a sativa. It's still rock hard buds.
Yeah,
super,
like I see
super lemon haze.
Yeah, the super lemon haze. That's that lemon skunk coming through in it. But like the amnesia haze I see in Canada is never the amnesia haze I see like at Soma's house. I'm just like, amnesia? Oh, let me see that. And then I'm just like disappointed because I know like someone just called it that, obviously. I'm like, where'd you get this? Did they say it was amnesia? They just call it that? They're like, I don't know. They just said it was amnesia. I'm like,
Oh, there's my lighter.
cool.
Yeah, it's hard to know anymore. Don't see a lot of pure sativas out there other than from close personal friends. But the marketplace. So that's interesting. Madagascar, I've always thought, would and probably has some very exciting cannabis on deck. It seems to me to have been the heart of cannabis. This is where India and Madagascar broke off from East Africa all those millennial ago. And I don't know, the continent of India drifted north over the millions and millions of years, slammed into the land, creating the Himalayas. But I don't know. I think it took cannabis with it. Do you agree? You have thumbs up.
A thumbs up that.
So I don't know. India seems to have cannabis all over that continent, like from south to north through sativas and then to indicas and fucking ruderalis in the north, and it has it all. So I think cannabis went on that continental ride and survived those millions of years. And I don't know. It explains to me why there's weed in Nepal. I don't think anybody carried it there and planted it. Where the fuck would you get cannabis to do that with?
Paul Baba, yeah. Fucking.
I don't know, unless you took it from India. But they claim that the cannabis was there when people arrived. Probably why people stayed.
Why they stopped by? Yeah, they were like cruising along, going to wherever, and they were like, hey, what's this? Huh. I think we'll just chill out here for a while. We got everything we need here to set up a place. They're like, yeah, we got our cows and our cattle. Let's do it.
Yeah, there's that plant over there. Let's see here.
Looks like a lot of this plant around here. This is a good spot to stay, I'd say.
So, interestingly enough, the genetics seem to harken back to. And I met Simon one time from the Strain Hunters.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When we were in Spain, I guess. And we talked about how both of us actually felt that there's probably some magical marijuana in Madagascar yet to be discovered. They'd never been there in their travels.
They're probably just waiting to hear from a man on the ground there to be like, let's go.
Yeah, cannabis and lemurs.
That's all you really need.
Only place on earth where lemurs exist is Madagascar. They used to exist on the mainland before Madagascar split. And those lemurs on the mainland evolved into something else because they had predators that made them evolve. Whereas the lemurs in Madagascar did not have that. So they evolved into many different types of lemurs.
They're like, we can just chill here. We have no threat.
Yeah.
Good. And weed everywhere.
So, yeah, just like a whole bunch of different kind of lemurs live there now. They used to be, and still technically are, the mascot of our show. The official, between that and the honey badger.
Honey badger, yeah. That little badger.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're here again. I've also added some live resin to this. That kind of stuff. Just added that to the joint. That kicked it into a much higher gear.
It's like third gear now.
Yeah.
Where's all my
Oh,
dogs?
yeah. Here we are sitting at home again. Still. And the government continues to pretty much tell us what to do.
Yeah, they told us that Christmas was canceled, so I don't know about that.
Well, little chance you're going to cancel Christmas. Like, people everywhere are going to be breaking those rules. You can bet on.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Our family's not, because we usually rent this massive hall that holds like all 100 of us or so. So we're not allowed to rent the hall this year because, well, they're not going to be liable, you know? So,
Yeah.
so
Well,
we did.
you could have your family gathering at Walmart.
Walmart food court, I guess.
You're allowed to go there. No, it's very unusual.
We could probably have it at the table and chair section. Just say, "I'll meet at aisle 9, home furnishings," and like set up a little living room and shit, and just straight up chill. Socially distanced, mind you, but you know, still.
Open all your presents there.
Just get them there.
Yeah.
Just be like, "What do you want?" Like, "Oh, I got you this," and just pull it over behind your back, and then when you're ready to leave, you just pay as you go out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Even though things have not happened this year as a result of all this, it's just a blip in time, really, in your life.
Yeah, like I don't really remember last year, so this whole year is pretty much like the same. So I'm like, well,
Yeah. So in the future, people go, you remember those years that year when we had to stay at home?
I'll be like, no, but that was good.
No, but yeah, cool. So, although people are losing their employment.
Yeah, that sucks because there's not too many jobs out there.
So I don't know how that will all pan out. But the government's fucked. They're always going to err on the side of caution, is what we call it. So the statement means that they've made a mistake. They've erred on the side of caution. So this is what they do, is that they go way overboard in whatever it is they're doing. And whether or not it makes a difference, you'll never know. Right? So eventually, when the cases are reduced and the threat is no longer, they'll go, see, everything we did.
Control now.
So they're not going to ever lose from their position. And it's very easy to carte blanche, do as little as possible here. An outright ban on anything is the easiest thing that you can ever do with the issue.
Just ban it all. Everything has to be okay then. Like, oh, you can't do anything. How did this all happen?
Yeah.
Don't do none of that stuff.
So you're not required to work out any details if you put a ban on something, right? You could say accept, but you got to do some work then. So from their position, they'd probably rather do as little as possible, really, and outright ban things, because that's the simplest and easiest way for them to do anything.
It's like at the city hall meeting, they're like, "Oh, it's 2:55." They're like, "We got a bunch of stuff we got to bang out here, but we could just ban it all now. And just we'd be home by 3:30."
Yeah.
We're like, "All for ban? Aye.
Yeah. Meet you at the bar.
Yeah. Oh, now we can't go to the bar, the private bar that all the politicians go to. We'll call it Sam's Place."
So we'll have to see. I don't know. It's just a crazy, wild, as far as I'm concerned, an unknown. I don't know whether or not this threat actually exists or is necessary to be this stringent against. I don't know that. And no one does, no matter what they say or what position they take.
Well, I like the fact that they're getting everyone to wash their hands again. That was the people weren't doing that enough. I'm a big germ phobe, so when I see people washing their hands again, I'm like, right on, guys, that's good. Let's share a doob. Oh, we don't have to. Oh, okay, let's not. But
yeah, in my life, it was never a thing when I was young, or until now, that this becomes an issue. So, yeah, I don't know. But all I'm saying is that I don't know for sure about anything. I've not been presented a reasonable case here to understand. They were just reporting potentially the flu, right? They've never done that before. They've never reported the numbers of flu occurrences each year where thousands die, right? So if you're going to test kids at school, yeah, you're going to find the flu. And this one, what, is it more virulent than the last one? I don't even know. They're not telling me anything about what happened last year to give me some comparison and understanding here, which I find kind of odd in that omission. So if you're just going to keep reporting how many people tested positive for the flu, then everybody goes, oh no, it's worse than that. But I don't know, the number of fatalities here are really similar to every other year.
yeah, I haven't sat down and looked at any numbers. Not really a numbers guy, more of a hands-on guy. I've been going peeking my head in the hospitals and stuff. There's sick people there. I've seen them, but I don't know.
I try not to go anywhere near hospitals at any time.
Like peeking in the windows and shit. I'm like, yeah, they look sick, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, if you're going to focus on these people, it happened every year, one way or another. People died of the flu, whatever that was called. So I don't know what's going on. The government, they can't be smart enough to be up to something. Can they? Are they smart enough to do this kind of thing, to be up to something?
Nah.
Right? Like I just don't see how that would be possible across the board. I don't think people would, there would be a whistleblower somewhere, you would think, if in fact. So I think they're just bumbling along. And there's probably money in it somewhere, somehow, behind the scenes. There's money in it somewhere, and this is why it's
Big
leading,
Hand Sandy and Big Mask came into the picture.
leading to the money.
Yeah.
And vaccine, right? So we'll see what transpires here with the vaccine regime.
Yeah, I like that. Someone posted a meme on, somewhere. social media, and it said, what did it say? Oh yeah, like haven't found a cure for cancer, haven't found a cure for AIDS, haven't found a cure for, depression or whatever. And then, within like 12 months, they have a vaccine or 9 vaccines for fucking COVID 19. And it's like, what? It's like, go after some other shit here. After this, I'm going to be on them now. I'm going to be like, hey, you guys fucking did that. Now stop this other stuff from happening. Like,
Yeah. No, it's all fairly coincidental in terms of the timing of it all. So I don't know. We'll have to see. There's not much I can do about it. Even if I was against it enough to go out and march on the streets, it doesn't fucking matter. Marching on the streets not do anything at all. We learned from cannabis that doesn't do anything. How much we marched. So
yeah,
that's what I'm smoking.
I always thought the last marijuana march did it. That was like the last one there, April or marijuana march, whatever, 2016, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're legalizing it now." That they marched enough.
Yeah.
I always just assumed that's how come it's legal. I didn't think anything else. Now I'm thinking maybe it was money driven or something, but
yeah. No, it was a very unusual way to present it, I think. How those very people who were marching on the street and all other cannabis consumers were the only people who wanted to have cannabis made available to them legally. They're the only people, right? But when they legalized it, they chose not to include those people, which is an odd thing to me. How they have come about offering cannabis to me as an adult here, and in no way reflecting what only those people would care about the cannabis, right? How we always have dealt with it and had it. We were the only people doing it. So you're going to open a store now to provide essentially those people with their cannabis and not give them the same experience whatsoever. Not acknowledge that they ever had that experience. It's a weird thing, I think.
it is a weird one.
So, like, I appreciate your marketplace now becomes convenience. People from the who would usually get their weed from a guy out of total convenience are going to go to that store. Yeah, you're going to pay a little more, but they don't care. It's convenient. You can go and get weed. Oh my God. So, what? Cannabis customers have been complaining about Ontario's pot or what's available on the Ontario. I don't know from what. It's too dry, they said.
That's Ontario for you. It's fucking right now. What is it right here? 21% humidity. That's 21. That's like, and I have like a humidifier in here. I have a dehumidifier for the summer and a humidifier for the winter. And there's like a point where it goes from like 50% humidity to 60% humidity to like 14. It's like it's brutal.
Good time to flower marijuana.
Exactly, yeah. That's why all these winter crops are like perfect.
Yeah.
And drying out hash, like air drying hash without a freeze dryer and stuff. You have low humidity where out west it's like 50% and higher all the time. So it's like brutal, you know what I mean? It's like, huh.
Well, humidity plays a pretty big role in the outcome. So yeah, they did some survey and found out the majority of people in Ontario consuming pot still buy it from the illegal market because it offers better quality, according to Ontario's Auditor General. This is who's bringing us this information, the Auditor General.
You probably heard it from his friends. They're like, well, your weed sucks, buddy. We're fucking going to see Rick still, like, till it gets better. sorry, bud.
Well, Auditor General Bonnie, her annual report found that the underground market represent about 80% of cannabis sales in Ontario during 2019 and 2020. So 80% they're talking about here are still buying it the way they bought it the day before you open your store. Right? So if 80% is a fair chunk of the market, you're not capturing at all.
Wow, it's what the legal stores are sharing 20% of the market. That's not a lot of market, you know?
No. And it would also suggest an overwhelming opinion about whether or not you want it. So they talk about quality. It's the quality, not price, is what they said in the report here, was the primary reason why cannabis consumers chose the illegal market. Quality, not price.
Yeah,
They don't want the price. They don't want the price to change. Everybody's pretty happy with the price of cannabis.
and smokers are used to that price. You know, if they didn't jack it up so high and were just like, oh, it's like $50 a quart or whatever, you know, people would be like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. That's a little bit higher than Rick, but hey, it's right here. It's only like $5 more or $6 more or whatever, you know. Well, like, you know, now they're like, no, it's for a quarter of weed, that costs you fucking $120. You're like, well, fuck, you're buying an ounce for $120. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna buy 3.5 or 7 grams or fucking 28 for the same price.
So essentially what the legal industry has brought forward isn't satisfying the consumer. Convenience maybe not playing as big a role as one thought. Just because it's there doesn't mean you're going to go and buy it. So they're getting the newbie market. People who've never tried cannabis before, I would have to think, and now are comfortable enough because it's legal to go and do that. See what it's all about. So that's probably the 20%. And these numbers are just fucking made up. How would they even know?
Yeah, like I know that the local drug dealer, or those 80% of drug dealers, are not saying like, yeah, oh yeah, we're selling illegal dope over here, lots of it, 80% of the market's worth.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that they've actually ever been able to determine exactly what but at any rate. So I don't know what they're gonna do about it all. I didn't read the whole article in terms of that, just those things. She said in her discussions with cannabis store managers and alcohol, guns, tobacco, and whatever stuff, we heard that some people prefer cannabis because it is more illegal cannabis because it is more potent and the product is fresh.
Wow, that's fucking very good answer. Actually, it's sort of true.
Yeah.
Just because it's fresher means it's better. Like, yeah.
The primary gripe was that the weed was too dry. Products shipped to private retailers also do not have an expiry date, making it difficult to assess the quality of the product. No. So what, the retailers can't even look at the weed they're getting?
No, they just get
It's got to be
containers.
unopened, pass it to the customer out of the fucking box.
They're just like, oh yeah, it's in here.
Yeah, sounds like something.
Yeah. Oh, it says it's in here. It must be in here.
The
Like a,
auditor also found that the Ontario Cannabis Store closely monitors illegal cannabis websites to compare prices and products.
well, know your market, I guess. Know your market, know your competition.
I should have fucking known that before he put this all together and offered me something that I would care to partake in. Know what? So now you're going to go look at the black market and see what they're doing and compete just a little bit with the price. Just get it down a little bit below.
Yeah, like I think with the whole legalization for me, I always thought it was gonna be like alcohol prohibition, where it was like I used to work for Seagram's Booze Company. We'll work on their cottage, so I met one of the older sons when we were younger, and he told us he was like, "Oh, our great grandfather, he was a bootlegger." You know what I mean? And this is like the people that own like Seagram's Booze, like it's just like I don't know how many generations down, but it wasn't very many. You know what I mean? And it was like. And I figured it'd be like that, people on the black market would get to come out and be like, "Oh wow, we did this," like the moonshine guys there on like moonshine things are like, "Oh, I grew this weed in the back 40, special
Well,
low crop."
no, they've come at it from not a celebratory point of view here. Even though those of us who enjoyed cannabis prior to legalization showed them that we did celebrate the plant and had fun with it. It didn't hurt anyone, but they chose to take this point of view of danger and forbidding and denying access. Really, they're not. It's all about restricting, restrict, 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 right down the line.
Yeah, it's like a weird one because they don't want to say that it's good for you in any way, or how it'll make you feel, good or bad. Like they're not like, "Oh, it's gonna make you feel bad or good." They're just like, "Oh, here's marijuana. It smells fruity and tastes like this," and that's like all they're really saying. You're like, "What? What are you giving me?"
Well,
You're like,
yeah, it's unusual how they would want to take away that experience to present their product, fully well knowing that this is not how we buy marijuana or ever have.
well,
Maybe
or come at it with the side of like even like booze, where make it like whatever, make marijuana like fun, like, oh, look at those guys, they're like smoking a joint, having the best time, like kind of like booze commercials are, like, hey, right on, like None of that
No,
shit. I haven't seen that. I've only seen like anti fucking ads. It's like, huh.
no, that's all. You're not allowed to celebrate cannabis in any way. They made it loud and clear in their regulations that you are not to, which again is a very unusual point of view, I think, given what you know about the consumer.
You like go to the weed store to buy weed, and they can't even say like "have a nice day" because it's like it may be like saying you might be having a nice day from the marijuana. You know, like
As long as you're
there's
not
like
too, as long as you're not too high to buy the marijuana.
yeah, or drunk. I
No,
smoke
it's a crying
try to
shame, but
buy it.
so I don't know. They'll come to this eventually, and I would certainly expect the quality and potentially the packaging to improve considerably, but that still don't do not too much for me as a consumer. Still, you can't celebrate it, nor can you promote it or do anything around it other than to sell it inside that little pill bottle they put it in. They package it to make it look like a drug.
Yeah,
They,
exactly. Yeah.
they've done that on purpose to make it look like a drug so that they can treat it the way that they do. It's a shame when I see the retail outlets, they're, I don't know, they've gone to great expense to decorate these places and no one fucking cares.
Well, and not decorated either. Sort of decorated, but not. You know, like because they
Well,
weren't allowed to do so much.
yeah,
So it's like, why would you do that? I did see some more simplified versions of legal stores, which I was more impressed with because I was like, okay, that's better. Like, you don't need a fucking $20,000 counter with weed displays in it because you can't see the weed anyway. If I could just tell them,
yeah.
we got the Northern Lights. You want it? Yeah, okay, here you go. We got three
Once you
grams,
get to the
4 grams.
counter, once you get to the counter, your cannabis experience ends,
That's yeah.
right? You're only there for the weed. Doesn't matter what the store looks like in the meantime. Like, what do you
Yeah,
want?
like make it like my old drug dealer's place. Like have a couple lizards and a snake tank and shit, you know? Like, come on now.
Yeah,
Have a
like
stand
the
up video
weeds
game.
over
A really
there.
busy drug dealer so they can just play some video games while you're waiting in line.
That's pretty good. I like that idea. Like a
Looks
basement,
good. They had a
decorated
big
like a
room you go in
basement.
and wait. Had video games, had a kickboxing, like a couple like kick bags and one that was like bungee to each side of the ground. I forget what else was in there. A whole bunch of shit. It was like a big room. It was an old indoor pool that had a thing on top of it. So that big of a room, just like a big fucking empty space.
Wow, have fun.
It was fun, and those guys were like, I don't know if they were that busy or if they made it seem like they were that busy, but yeah, you never seen another like customer when you were there buying weed or hash, except in that room. But most of the time, you were just in there with whoever you went there with.
So the Auditor General has warned that a lack of product oversight, whatever the fuck that means, could lead to dangerous consequences, she said. As more stores open, she said, and competition increases among retailers, they will have an incentive to generate greater profit margins by selling illegal products that compromise consumer health. Just
I guess that'd be a thing, right? Like you have a store, you have like some weed, you're like, huh, that's weird because yeah, I bought some weed from a legal store. I'm not gonna say where. I forget where it was. Saskatoon maybe or Manitoba, I can't remember. And it looked like the sticker was like off. And like here, I got a couple stickers right here. Look. Oh, look, my coffee's from Health Canada, bro. Can't even open it. Oh, oh.
that's pretty good.
The Metainer, Health Canada approved. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny, eh? And well, yeah, but those stickers actually looked like they were like the one like had like glue from a glue gun on it. I was like,
huh.
and I didn't question it because I don't buy like weed from those shops all the time, so it's just like, oh, whatever. But when you said that, I was kind of like, huh, yeah, I've never seen that since. Like, you know.
Well, this is what the report fucking they came up with. These people are fucking nuts. This is the Auditor General's report. Is what that's pretty fucking highfalutin reporting. It's just cannabis.
Well, they were told it was a multi-billion-dollar industry, not just a semi-billion-dollar industry. So they're trying to figure out like what happened. How come it's not cha-ching? You know, everyone's like, "Where's our cha-ching? We want our cha-ching."
You said there was going to be, yeah, well, I don't know, the numbers that you see too here about how much the legal market is making a dent in the illegal market. It changes quite a bit depending on the article that's being written. This one says 80%. I've not actually heard one that high for a long time. They keep inching it down, saying, oh, we're getting now.
50%. No.
Yeah, we're almost there. Right? So, interestingly enough, so canopy growth, what they shut down, they're shutting down a whole bunch of shit across the land. 5 indoor fucking grows they have, and all of their outdoor. They're abandoning growing outdoor, which hopefully they all will.
Well, if they can't grow good indoor, they ain't growing good outdoor. So it's like,
Yeah. So what? They're going to lay off 200 people or something.
uh,
And, this is how they raised all their money. It's the potential of having all of that, which now they're not going to use. And they're going to downsize. And
it's like you get the guy with the black market guy that has like whatever the 50 light show or whatever we'll say. He has like a few guys working with him, and that's like he's like pretend he's a big company, and now at the end he just goes back to like having 4 guys working for him. He's like, well, let's go back to the old way, boys.
yeah. No, we've, those of us who like cannabis and want cannabis are lifetime livers of fucking prohibition against it so far, right? So kind of tough to change those ways, and insane that they would not adopt the people who are doing it But they wanted all these rules. Rules are worth billions of dollars. Every rule is worth millions. Somewhere, somehow, to somebody.
Yeah, and lots of them are stupid rules that hinder the production of good cannabis. So it's kind of like, fucking, they should all be fighting for those changes, you know? Be like, let's change this up so we can grow some good dope here. Come on now.
Yeah, that wasn't the point.
Yeah,
Right?
they're just like, whatever, we grew
So
dope.
far.
We'll do whatever we have to it to get it to the retail market. That's fine.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we just have to overgrow it. Like, to me, it would seem that this is going to end up more in the hands of the small grower rather than the giant conglomerates, right? So I think that eventually it will be down to much higher quality and potentially some changes to production and I don't know, pesticides. That'd be a good one. But all this microbial fucking ruining of cannabis with your testing for microbes, for fuck's sakes. It ain't fruit. Somebody should challenge this. Say this test is invalid for fucking cannabis. You're destroying the product in your test to make sure that it's fucking okay to consume when you don't know that it's even okay to consume. And
Well,
no one asked for that. That wasn't part of our lives. No one cared because no one was getting hurt. Right? That's the only reason people continue to want cannabis because they know it doesn't hurt them. The risk isn't very high at all. So the risk along the way is not very high.
yeah, and you can just look at it and be like, oh, that doesn't look very good, or oh, it looks moldy. Well, I won't eat that, or I won't smoke that. You know what I mean? Like when I look at the moldy bread or the moldy cheese, I'm not like, oh, I'll just eat a peel. I'll just eat that chunk of mold off there. Well, no, I just cut it off and throw it away.
Yeah, it's not the same at all. So, and they have no clue to address that at all. So I don't know. They're just going to come up with more rules, is what they'll do to ensure this complete safety and transparency. Now, what in Ontario they announced that the Ontario Cannabis Store couldn't account for 84,000 units of cannabis. 84,000 units, whatever a fucking unit is.
Whatever. It could be 3.5 grams. It could be 1 gram.
It's a unit. Could be a beverage. Could be a 84,000 they're tracking to fucking seed to sale tracking missed. Doesn't add up.
Seems like a lot of displacement.
It does. But to no explanation. It's not being diverted to the black market because nobody wants it there either.
Yeah, it's not like you go to the dealer's place and he's like, "Oh, right on, bro. I got some of that legal weed for you." You're like, well, "Yeah, what else you got?" Like,
If anything, the black market is selling weed to the LPs and should be. The weed would be better. You'd know right away that they were.
yeah, people's like, "Shit, this weed's pretty good."
So, yeah, the small grower, but it's still expensive and laborious to get involved in it all. But I think that's where it will head, and change will come through that more than anything, because that's getting closer potentially to the way that we like cannabis and their ability to provide it, I guess. So all the cannabis being provided illegally or legally is done so under the guidance of prohibition methods, right? We aren't we aren't seeing the Seagrams of alcohol, if you will, coming out of the woodwork to fucking have the best, much better than there was, right? Huh. We too would, I suppose, be creating bathtub fucking weed,
Bathtub weed growing in a bathtub.
and it has been, right?
Yep. I seen
So,
newts mixed up in a bathtub, and I said, "This is just like bathtub gin."
yeah. So we've done the best we could under the dire circumstances that we were faced with. Remarkably well, I'd say, given that our desire to have cannabis outweighed anything else, right? Driven by that, those would provide. So, and we had a lifetime to do it, right? It's always been this way where you did the best you could under the circumstance. That's not, the circumstances were not conducive to growing cannabis by any means. They altered the way we would do things. We borrowed lights from fucking parking lots to do it, right? Everything was borrowed from something else because it didn't exist for that. And still worked.
Yeah, still today, these new products are coming out, and you're like, "Well, that's just this, and that's just this." Like,
I've seen weed being grown in eaves troughs on the fucking ground. I've seen weed being grown in pop-pop, right? Milk cartons, anything, everywhere.
oh, crates, yeah.
So, and that was from our desire to have cannabis, pure and simple, which luckily and fortuitously grew and grew and grew over time into providing a tremendous number of people cannabis that want. Huh. All these years, every fucking day, going on. Now they want to change all that. So unusual because it's more potent. They concluded that the legal weed is less potent and not as fresh.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like,
well, that's because it's been abused the whole time and bounced around inside this jar, no matter where it went. Right?
all your THC's in there. You're like, "Where's that THC there?" We're like, "Oh, there it is."
Yeah, it's stuck all over the jar. So their insane packaging goes totally against what the public was buying the day before, right? So, but they wanted to make it look so foreboding, so dangerous. The warnings, the fucking numbers. They got so many numbers on there now. Now they're telling you all the terpenes that are in it. Like, really? Measured against what? What is this measured against? There's this much terpene that you're reporting is on this cannabis compared to what? Really good cannabis, maybe? But it have more terpenes? Don't know. And don't really care. I don't know. It's for somebody to make a purchase unseen and unknown, I guess. So interesting.
It's like the cup and ball thing. They're like, here you go. You want some weed? Could be good. Could be not. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. So, and that, goes nothing to talk about the taxes that they have chosen, decided. So, in the beginning, they said, okay, well, if we're going to legalize cannabis for the people who want cannabis, we should make them pay extra. We should tax them extra for wanting cannabis. Interesting.
Tax the living hell out of it. I think I heard one of the people say.
And I say, fuck you, fuck off. Why should we pay more for anything? Why should we give you a tax to have our cannabis?
Well, whatever. If they want us to pay whatever, say it's like $5 tax on a gram, well, make a gram only cost fucking $5 then.
Yeah, the price should really reflect the cost of production. And still no tax. Fuck you. There's no reason to tax it. Right? I don't know how one could possibly ever get out from under that tax. Now, since they've imposed it, it'll stay. And people will accept it because that's how life goes. Right? We pay tax. But fuck you. The tax is coming out of the consumer's pocket. It's not magically appearing out of fucking nowhere. The very people who want cannabis are going to pay that money. So they're all drooling over every state that's talking about legalizing cannabis, all the federal coffers that could be involved, and it's still just a tax on the marijuana people. The cannabis culture gets fucking taxed. Fuck you. Like, really. It's astounding how blatant it is. The disdain that they have for the cannabis consumer. No celebration. Pay. You want it? You're gonna fucking pay. Fuck you. That's what they said to us. So what the fuck? And because they're now setting the price across the land, they're choosing to set it at prohibition prices and beyond. Not sure how that got through any meeting without somebody going, well,
Because they've seen the numbers from like before legalization, and now it's all the illegal numbers estimated from what the police thought. So they're like, Well, I guess that's what we sell it for then if we want to make that profit.
Yeah. So, but that kind of profit and that attitude are on the backs of the cannabis consumer. The only people who want cannabis are going to have to put up with this even further into it for some unknown reason. Because we put up with it too long. Nobody cares anymore. This is the price of cannabis. Always has been, always will be, and more now. It's what the industry will strive to achieve, as any industry does. But this is all done out of our pockets, if it's to be done. So it's difficult to accept that kind of continued treatment as a cannabis consumer. Fuck you. We've just wanted cannabis that doesn't hurt anyone.
Just want to have a little smoky smoke and that's it.
Yeah. You made it into this fucking thing, this big thing somehow. Okay? Now you can't get out from underneath that. You don't want to, because so I don't know. We'll have to see how it all transpires. But it's still all just fucking for profit. But off we go. I'm fairly stoned off that live resin.
Stoned off the dead resin.
Yeah, it's not live anymore.
Here's my dead resin. Gone though.
Yeah, the kids, they're just bored with prohibition, right? Coming up with all sorts of different ways to extract what we want from the plant. Not really extract, but separate. So we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We just do it because we like it, right? This method of getting the trichomes off of the plant tastes pretty good. So more than that, I don't really care.
If it's good, I'll smoke it. If it's bad, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah. Depends on the choice that I have, right? You and I might have more choice in the world beyond a lot of people's ability. And getting weed at the corner is a bonus.
It is. They're open from whatever time till whatever time, early till late. Every, pretty reliably. Unlike sometimes your drug dealer. But some drug dealers, they were on it. You never had to wait either. So, I don't know. And the quality shit, but whatevs. Those newbies, they don't really know yet. They'll discover good cannabis later on and be like, what is this shit that we're buying at the store?
So yeah, that's what's going on this week. So, I don't know. people joined us in the chat. Is there people in the chat?
Probably. Give us one question.
Who's in the chat? Nice. Huh? Wow. That's a lot of people.
I'm going to pretend I'm reading the chat on the side here. How many more days? 11 days till Christmas or some shit like that?
What?
Well, it's the 9th.
Is that right?
Oh, I guess it had to be like, what, 14 days tomorrow? 14 days tomorrow till Christmas.
Huh?
2 effing weeks.
Wow.
And again, the viewers can send my Christmas gifts to the 307 West Hastings address.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm a size 1/4 ounce.
Yeah, we can pick it up there for sure. Yeah, fun stuff. Well, I don't know, probably do one more show before then. Huh. Here I am on Pot TV now.
Oh yeah, I guess the other show would be Christmas Eve, 23rd, December 23rd.
Is that right?
Getting high, waiting for Santa.
Yeah.
Or no, I guess that's the 24th is Christmas Eve.
Well, we'll be around next week. I don't even know what the date is today. The 12th today? Really?
No, 9.
No, 9. Oh yeah, one more show before that anyway. So in the meantime, stay safe out there, and hope this all blows over sooner than later. And good to see you, Mr. Cookie.
Good to see you and everyone else out there in Pod TV land.
Thanks for joining us, and do check out all the other shows being presented here almost daily, if not daily, right here on Pot TV. So until next time, thanks to Anil too for hooking us up. And we'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Marijuana Man. Peace and pot.